Welcome to Raw Talk, and today I am joined by young prospect, the dangerous, the dynamic, the diamond, James Precious, the precious one.
Yeah, good mate.
How are you doing,
mate.
James?
Thanks for having me on the show.
No problem.
Yeah, thank
Merry
you
Christmas.
too. Merry Christmas.
No problem. Thank you. Merry Christmas. So, now you want to know, which is a dangerous stage. As they say, confidence grows faster than experience. What was the one thing you learned in your first pro bout that you didn't learn in the gym?
Like, just the event as a whole, you know, the crowd, the pressure, the fighting was, I mean, you learn all that in the gym, you can prepare for that. But like I said, just the whole event, like warming up in changing rooms, the seriousness, I feel like once you get them gloves wrapped on, your hands wrapped, you know, going there without your top on, you know, this is serious business. Just that feeling like as soon as you walk out, everyone's chanting your name or the spotlight's on you. You can't prepare for that in the gym. You only get that through, you know, experiencing it firsthand. That's probably the biggest takeaway, you know, just, you know, serious business now. This is pro boxing. This is what it's about, you know. Yeah, that's what I'd say though. I mean,
so moving on, I'm sure you're familiar with the expression styles make fights. If you were to describe your style now, not what you want to get to in 5 years, now, what problems do you present to your opponents?
We just come forward, you know, pressure fighter. Even though coming forward, I'm tricky, you know, not just fucking like a fucking rhino, head first straight into, you know what I mean? I'm a calculated pressure fighter, you know, changing them levels, feints. And if I get into you and I get to you, you're going to pay for it, you know? And I think it's one of them, I can, if you want to box, I can box. I mean, if you're just going to, you know, you want to have a slug out of a fight, I'll have a fight. But it's going to be worse off for you, you know what I mean? So I've got like loads of things in my locker. You know, I'm not just a one-trick pony. I can do a bit of everything. It's just obviously with these, like you say, in the future, I mean, depending what sort of opponent I have, depends on how I'm going to have to box. But, you know,
depending on how dangerous you are, it might be them changing their game plan around how you.
I mean, I've got a lot of problems, a lot of things in my locker. Not one trick pony, you know, I can do a bit of everything.
I've seen you box, met you in person as well. You're very tall, a lot taller than people expected. Very tall guy, very tall for a middleweight. You're well over 6 foot. And you're sparring guys like, you know, Callum Simpson. You've been sparring some big names. You're holding your own from what I hear. And you know, listen, you can only gain experience from these guys. Great guys to work.
I mean, you sparring people like that, you know what I mean? That bigger blokes, you know what I mean? Categories above me. I mean, I'm sparring people like holding my own. When I come down and box people my size, you know, they're going to know about it, do you know what I mean?
That's good management and good practice for you, and that's brilliant. And that's really you're blessed because a lot of guys don't get those opportunities. So take those opportunities, learn from guys like Callum, learn from guys like, you know, these ones, and absorb as much as you can from it, you know, and just take it in as a young man, enjoy every second of it. You know, I'd chop off 2 fingers to be your age again and have your ability, so, you know.
Oh, man, I love it, man.
So moving on, a lot of young pros focus on power and speed early in their career. What's the part of your game you're actively trying to sharpen before people start noticing you?
Good question.
Would it be footwork?
I'd say it's more like with me, with the professional side, it's being a bit more patient. I think like I'm confident in my speed or like my power and all that sort of stuff. I think it's more the patience, and instead of wasting shots, being more calculated and making the shots you throw count, varying that power up. I think it's a lot more, rather than your footwork or your punches or your punch power, I think it's a lot more in-depth stuff I'm trying to work on. And obviously, if I get better at that, it'll then bring on my power, my speed, my footwork. Do you know what I mean? It's, but I think just getting a bit more deep, you know, like the patience, like the shot selection, bit more my the ring craft as a professional, how to control my opponent in certain scenarios. I think that's more now as a professional I need to learn, and obviously once I've learned that brings on the other part of my game. But it's a good thing about the professional side. Since I've turned pro, it's a whole new learning curve. I'm learning so much more. It's like I brought the love back for it. Love back for the sport, love for learning. I think every time I go to the gym, if I know I'm learning something, I'm looking forward to go to the gym again. Every time I go to the gym, and you know, a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. Like if I'm going to sparring Callum Simpson, every time I go to spar Callum, I'm learning something new. Or if I don't, mate, he's an hard spar, man. He's a beast. You know what I mean? If I don't go to every spar learning something or trying something new or getting better or something, I'm not going to improve, and it's going to be hard for me every single time, So it's, learning, just learning something new all the time.
I hear it a lot. I'm
Yeah.
good friends with Dan Garber, and he says to me when he's been sparring with Hughie Fury, he just feels like he just levels
definitely.
up. James, in a sport like boxing, when people look at records, and we both saw it at the weekend, you can think you're cruising to victory, and then something can not go your way, whether it's a shot you don't see, whether it's a tricky opponent who just won't go away. When those moments come, what is the facet that you rely on in your game that you can trust will get you through those moments?
I'd say probably just the mindset, strong-minded. I think, a loss in boxing in the end of the world. I mean, if you're pushing it, a lot of people aren't going to get in there. Do you know what I mean? It's a hard sport.
A lot worse things can happen to you.
Well, it is, mate. It's tough. It's tough. It's a tough sport, and getting in there. Not a lot of people can box. Getting in there, you're pushing your luck. You're boxing the best people. You're gonna get a loss on your record, maybe one way or another. But it's just that mindset. You know what I mean? I've been through worse in my life than Buddy taking a loss in a fight. As long as if I went in there and I boxed absolutely shite and it was a piss poor performance, then I've beat myself up a little bit more, but I'd be like, sort your shit out, But if I went in there and a good performance against a good boxer, I've took the loss, or maybe I've had a step up or whatever. It happens, you know what I mean? It's a loss. One loss ain't the end of the world. Maybe 2 losses, it don't matter. As long as you keep coming back and trying, Look at Troy Williamson, man. He had 3 losses on the bounce, didn't he? And he's won the English title now. He beat Colin Simpson at the weekend. Never say never. It's not the end of the world.
I was ringside. I was ringside, mate. So yeah, I know it was very.
Yeah, so did I, man.
I really felt it.
I was gutted, man. It's all about how you come back.
I love hearing. Yeah. You know what I hate? Success stories. They bore me to death. What I like to hear is the man that fell
back. Yeah.
Got back up, dusted himself down, looked himself in the mirror, understood he wasn't what he thought he was, and went back to fucking the drawing board and came back stronger. That's the story I like to hear. That's a story
that touches
with
people, it inspires people. That's what it's about.
So thanks for that, James. Last question. You're actually featuring in my game Top Champs as a prospect card. If somebody pulled your card today, what's the attribute that would surprise people that you have if they'd never heard about you before? Power, head movement,
similar to the attributes I'd have on my card right now. Yeah.
You've seen your card, yeah. So if somebody would pulled your card today on the game, and thought, right, I've got James Precious in front of me, what would surprise them about your attributes that they didn't know about you?
I don't think it'd be surprised me.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
I love that confidence, mate. You're a good kid. I like that. I don't think they'd be surprised. No, listen, James, right, you're special. So for the viewers, special traits for James: heavy-handed, pressure cooker, head movement master. Yeah. So I'll be displaying these sooner or later on a little trailer, on a little teaser trailer, like I have been. I mean, we've got some big names on the game now. And like I say, this is one of these games where it's more about gameplay and strategy rather than button bashing and cheating. Can't have that. I want to make I want to make a game for the fans.
I mean,
trust me. Yeah, thank you for coming on Raw Talk, James, the Diamond Precious.